guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a reading vlog. I've never done this before, but I thought that it would be a lot of fun. I watch a lot of reading vlogs and I feel like they get me really excited to read the book. The book that I'm going to be reading in this video is Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I've already actually started reading it. I'm only a couple chapters in and so far I'm really liking it. It's basically about this friend group that has been friends and lived together in college, and then it's about 10 years later, and this whole time they've been going to this cottage. Basically, this is the last trip that they're going to take because the cottage is going to be sold, and the two main characters in the book, they've been together for about 8 years, they're engaged, and basically they broke up for some reason, and because this is going to be their last trip as a friend group, they're pretending that they didn't break up and that they're still together so that they don't like put a damper on things, so they're hiding it from their friends so that they can all just have like a nice, fun, happy trip. So far, so good. I'm really enjoying it. I really wanted a fun summery read to start off my summer reading list. So let's head to the beach and start reading. There are a million people here. I was not expecting this because it's a weekday. It's a beautiful, sunny, 90-degree day. We're gonna go read, get into this book. I'll give you an update as I go along. So let's go.
If I show up, will you show me around town? If I make you laugh, will you give me some time? 'Cause I know that a girl like you could be falling in love with just about anyone. All I want is just to know you. It's just to hang around, walk on the same ground. You remind me of the days gone by, all the real good love turned up just in time. And if I show up, will you show me around town? Will you show me around town?
I look wrecked. So far, I am really enjoying this book. I feel like just the way that they are all communicating together are just, it's more believable. I feel like in a lot of romantic books or just a lot of books that I've read in general, it comes across very cheesy, like the dialogue isn't really there, where this, I feel like the dialogue is there. It's not super cheesy in my opinion so far. Just got to chapter 9. Basically where we're at is the bedroom situation. I feel like the love interest or like the love story between Harriet and Wynne is very believable. Can see why they loved each other. Can't wait to see like why they broke up. Basically what we find out like right away in the book is that Wynne broke up with Harriet on a 4-minute phone call months prior to this trip. I want to know why. And if you're with somebody for 8 to 10 years and you're engaged to them, how can you just end things on a phone call? Like, I need to know why. I need to know why. And I don't think that we're gonna know until like the very end. That's my guess. We'll see. I feel like once you get to like the 100-page mark in books, it really starts to pick up and get more interesting. But I didn't feel like this was lacking in that area. I feel like a lot of times books will drag until like the 100-page mark, and then at 100 pages it's like, okay, now you got me. Where this got me right away, I was actually very interested. And for it being a more like rom-com, just romance novel, I was expecting for it to drag until that point, but it hasn't for me so far, so I'm really enjoying it. Also, I wanted to show you my bookmark. This is my summer vision board that I made on PicMonkey. Got a lot of questions about it, so pretty much what I did is I saved a lot of these pictures on Pinterest. All I did was search summer aesthetic, and then from there your brain goes and you can pick like fruit aesthetic or beach aesthetic, reading aesthetic, whatever, and then make a Pinterest board and then save all the pictures to your computer. And then on PicMonkey, I made myself a little collage and then I printed this at Walgreens. Make yourself a vision board. It's so much fun and it gives you lots of inspiration and makes reading more fun too because it's your bookmark. So you get to start your book and end your book with like a positive, inspirational thing to look at. But yeah, that's my check-in so far on the book. So far so good. I'm enjoying it. I'll check back in with you later. All right, so I'm gonna pick up where I left off. I think I'm on chapter 9. Right now we're at the part where they go to the grocery store. I'm realizing that I am kind of neurotic like Sabrina. There's this part in the story where they're at this grocery store and friends have split up to get the different grocery store items. And Sabrina beforehand wrote down each item and then cut it out on a little strip, put it in a bowl, and then everyone would pick out and have like different items on the list. I'm thinking, wow, that's a great idea, but I would do her one more and put groupings. So I would put produce on one and then frozen on one and then napkins, paper towels, whatever, all of that on one so that each paper had a different category, because then it would be more efficient so you don't have everyone running around the store because, you know, you're probably gonna get like frozen pizza, strawberries, and paper towels and eggs, you know, and then you're bouncing all over the place. You know what I mean? Sabrina, amateur.
Said that you've been hurt one too many times before. Ended up staring in the bathroom mirror, crying on your bedroom floor. Baby, you can take my word, you haven't gotta hurt no more. Things about to get much better. I wanna make this forever. I wanna make this forever.
Okay, what's up? It's the next day. Right now I'm on chapter 26. Oh, there goes my bookmark. We just left off where Harriet reads the text message, thinking the text has to do with Gloria, or maybe it's that Gloria knows that Win is thinking about ending things with Harriet. Maybe he hasn't like told her they straight up are broken up, but maybe she knows that he's thinking about it and he's like pushing her towards doing that. Even though they already are broken up. So it's probably one of those things I'm thinking. So we will find out. We are switching around a lot for current tense and like what they're doing, but also past tense in how they met and how their love story has evolved and stuff. So far I'm like really loving the story. I feel like it's very realistic. I find myself really relating to the characters. I see so much of myself in Harriet, and also I see a lot of myself in Sabrina, surprisingly, because I feel like Sabrina's kind of a more annoying character. I feel like the way that this is written is very realistic. So yeah, so far I feel like it is very realistic. I'm enjoying the story. The sexual tension is so spicy. One other thing that I wanted to mention, this isn't really a spoiler, whatever, we're gonna talk about it. The whole vibe of like, woe is me, I'm not good enough for you, and I'm not anything special from Win is beyond annoying to me. Like, you can have a little bit of insecurity. Everybody has our own insecurities, I get that. But at the detriment of your relationship, it comes up so frequently that it's like, you need to figure that shit out. He's just projecting so much of his own insecurity onto Harriet in so many situations, and I'm over it. I'm over hearing about it. I don't care anymore. I feel like Win is a very likable character. I enjoy him in this book. I enjoy Harriet in this book, but to me, he's just so all about himself and like not being good enough that I'm just tired of hearing about it. Like, if you don't feel like you're good enough, then do something. Just my thoughts about the situation, because I feel like maybe we're supposed to like feel for him, like, oh, poor Win. Yeah, poor you for a minute, but like, it's been 8 years, let's do something. Let's boost our self-confidence a little bit here. But yeah, other than that being annoying, I really believe the love story between him and Harriet. I feel like it's very believable. Even their banter back and forth is very believable. And I like that it's pretty funny. Like, some of the things are silly in ways that like I would talk to my friends and talk to my husband, and just, I'm liking it. So yeah, we're about to go to the first dark place, which is San Francisco, California. So I think that this is where we're going to be introduced to kind of like the downfall of their relationship. So let's go.
It's as simple as it seems, the twinkle in your eyes, the way that time slows down when you kiss me. As we fall asleep in a bed of butterflies, just close your eyes and then you'll see it. You don't ever have to look too far. You don't have to cover up your scars. You're perfect, darling, just the way you are. So before you think to rip yourself apart, open up my heart and you'll find love, love, love.
Okay, so I finished the book. These are my final thoughts. I really liked it. I think that I would give it a 4 stars. It's definitely more of that like cheesy, romantic comedy type of vibe. Like if you think of like a traditional romance kind of movie, like I'm thinking The Proposal. That's all that's coming to mind right now. I don't know why. That's like the only like rom-com that I'm thinking of, but just think of your classic like 90s, 2000s rom-com. That's what you're gonna get from this. I really enjoyed all of the characters. I liked the diversity in the book. There was just a lot of different personalities, different types of people in the book, and I really enjoyed that. And I felt like I could relate to each of the characters in a certain way. I felt like the way that it was written was really well. I've mentioned before that I've read Beach Read from Emily Henry, only got halfway through because I just wasn't into it. So I was nervous going into this book because I could not relate to those characters. I couldn't get hooked in. I don't know, I was just a little nervous getting into this book, but right away, it got my attention. I was into the book. I love the setting. I love the coast of Maine vibes. I've never been there and always have wanted to go. So I loved the whole vibe of that. And I loved this constant wondering of like what happened to their relationship. Why aren't they together? What could have happened? And how, like, what could have happened to warrant a 4-minute phone call breakup after 8 years of being together? And what could have warranted not telling your friends about it and needing to pretend? So this book gave, I feel like it ends up making sense once you learn all of those answers. Really enjoyed it. The only things that I didn't really like that were a little unrealistic to me was absolute lack of communication between them. Like, I mean, it makes sense why they ended up like ending things, but at the same time, I'm like, how did you let it get to that point? Like, I understand not having the best communication. I feel like that's a very common mistake that people make in relationships, but to get to that point to where they didn't have any other issues other than that, that to me just felt a little unrealistic. But at the same time, then I think about it and I'm like, a lot of relationships do end in that kind of way over simple, easy fixes that just go unfixed or go untalked about. So yeah, just really believable. I loved the spice in this book because I've read some books that have the spice factor, the smut, if you will, and sometimes it's just a little over the top to where it's unbelievable, where it's like, okay. Where this was like so much buildup, so much normal tension, and then so much sexual tension, and then when it happened, it was like, it was just very realistic and believable. And I like that there was more interest in the storyline and the characters than just the like sex scenes themselves. I've read some books in the past, specifically from Colleen Hoover, where the only thing the books had going for them were those scenes. And so then I was like, I need more from this. So yeah, the whole time I really enjoyed this. I felt like towards the end of the book, it did get a little cheesy, a little Hallmarky. But at that point, I was kind of okay with it. I kind of wanted this to tie up in a nice, neat bow, and it did for me. I love the cheesy ending. It did give those Hallmark vibes, but I feel like it's better than a Hallmark movie. You know how like Hallmark movies are just cheesy through and through, and you just like, you're there for the cheese. This just had like a little sprinkle of cheese, especially at the end, but the rest of it was a little bit more like your traditional rom-com. I also really enjoyed the relationships of the friendships. I feel like, especially like, I think maybe that's also why I really related to this book too, was that they were my age. I'm 31, and a lot of different aspects of friendships and relationships have gotten brought up in this book, and I just really appreciated that because I feel like especially at this age is when it's a very transformative age. A lot of friends are at different parts of their life, different stages of life, and they're going through different things. And that is a very normal thing to have get brought up in normal life and in friendships and things. So I like that that aspect was brought to this book and was a very heavy part, or not heavy part, but like a main point in the book. It wasn't only about Harriet and Wynn's relationship, it was also about her relationship with the friends and their friend group in general. There was a part at the end of the book where I feel like this isn't much of a spoiler, but they can't find Sabrina, and right away they all just start panicking, and I'm like, why? That to me was very unrealistic and very unnecessary. Like if I was at a beach house and we had all gotten in a fight, and then when we all came back together we couldn't find one of the friends, I would be like, oh, they probably need some alone time. I would run to, oh, I wonder if she's in the hospital. I just felt like that was a little dramatic, and I feel like it also didn't really reflect the characters' personalities. So to me, that was a little annoying and also unnecessary. I liked how she wrapped in the family dynamics into this book and how it's very relevant. I feel like a lot of times, like how we're raised and how we've been brought up sometimes gets negated even in friendships, but especially in relationships. And I like that that was reflected in this book, because I feel like that's something that I haven't really read about, and it was very important for the storyline of this book and why the characters acted the way that they did, which makes so much sense, and that's so relatable because a lot of us do that, whether we know it or we don't. So I really enjoyed that. I like the way that the family dynamics were at the end. And then one last thing, Hank says something in the book. He says, "Love you so much, kiddo." And I loved that, and it like gave me the warm fuzzies because my father-in-law also calls me kiddo. And so when I was reading that and just like her relationship with Wynn's dad, it just gave me warm fuzzies. Yeah, all in all, I would say that this for me was a 4-star out of 5. There were a couple of things that I just felt like were a little unrealistic and a little too cheeseball for me. But other than that, everything else I really, really enjoyed. I loved the banter. Loved the banter, loved the back and forth. I loved the shit talking. I loved the friendship dynamics. I loved how realistic their relationship seemed. And it gave me all of these summery vibes that I was looking for. I really wanted a cozy but interesting summer read to kick off my summer reading list, and this definitely did that for me. So I also am a sucker for hardcovers. I feel like it's very common to hate hardcover books. Every time I hear a review and someone's reading a hardcover, they bitch about it. I love me a hardcover. Let me know your thoughts on this book, and let me know if you'd like me to do a books and makeup looks video on this book. I wrote down a lot of notes just in case you did. Books and makeup looks is basically a series on my channel where I do my makeup, gab about the book, give you all the nitty-gritty details. So before you watch that video, you want to make sure that you've already read this, because I will spoil literally everything. And then I can give you more detailed reviews, because right now I wanted to keep this very spoiler free, or any of the details that I am telling don't give you any information about the storyline itself. So if you would like that, let me know, because I can definitely do that. I did take notes because it was a very easy book to take notes on. And with that being said, let me know what book I should read next from my summer reading list stack here. Actually, let me take this one out because I've already read it. This is what's left. I'm actually contemplating starting Beach Read again, but I'm just gonna pick up where I left off. Beach Read is also from Emily Henry, the same author that wrote Happy Place. And the reason why I'm thinking about starting that back up again is because I really did enjoy this book that I just read, and I want to give her a second chance. I want to give that book a second chance because so many people love that book and give it 5-star reviews. So I think I just need to give it a second chance, give it a fresh set of eyes. It's been, I think it's been a year since I've set that book down, but I do remember everything that I read so far from it. And also what's making me want to read it again is that it's based on the town of Holland, Michigan, or like Saugatuck, Holland, Michigan area. And growing up, I would go there all the time. My grandparents had a condo up there that we would go to, and so we'd go to the beach, and I know the area very well, and so it kind of gives me a little bit more of a soft spot for that. So I think I'm gonna give it a second chance, and it must be good. I think they're making a movie or a series on it or something, so that makes me want to give it a second chance as well. And if they can make a movie or a series out of that, I bet that they will make one out of this, because this to me was really well written. That was the other thing I totally forgot to mention. The way that this was written was fantastic. It gave me Taylor Jenkins Reid vibes. It's not the cheese simple factor of Colleen Hoover books, which are fine, but it was just more mature. That's the word. It was just more maturely written. So anyways, yeah, let me know after I finish Beach Read which book I should read next on my summer reading list. And if you want to follow along, follow me on Instagram because I will be giving you more in the moment updates on my reviews on these books. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This was very different for me, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think it'd be really fun to do more, and I think it'd be fun to just do more book kinds of videos. So if you read books or you want to read books or this is inspiring you, whatever, let me know what kind of book content you'd like to see from me down below in the comments. Let me know what your summer reading list is, what books you want to read this summer. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and I will see you soon. Bye.